Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone, whatever time it may be, wherever you may be watching. So recently on our channel here, we put out a video of Rissa playing World of Warcraft for the very first time. So since there's a new player in my household, and the Shadowlands release is mere hours from this point, I've had a few requests over on our Discord to make a video on key bindings in World of Warcraft. So, without further ado, this is an absolute beginner's guide to key bindings in World of Warcraft. So what you're going to see when you log in on your character for the first time is a small bar at the bottom of your screen here. What I want you to do first is hit escape, press the interface button, and find the action bars menu. At that point, I want you to activate all of the bars, bottom left, bottom right, right bar, and right bar 2. You can choose to stack bars vertically or not. Personally, I choose not to. That's up to you. That's just aesthetic. So, what you're then going to see is a bunch of small little squares, much like this one, that you can place your abilities from your spellbook into. If you're level 1, you're not going to have many to fit in. You're probably only going to have one ability. Sometimes you'll have 2 depending on your class. But if you are, say, playing a boosted character, which I don't recommend if you're brand new, but if you are, you'll have the option to open your spellbook here by clicking on this button down at the bottom, or hitting the key P. At that point, you can then funnel your spells by holding Shift, clicking and dragging onto the bars. So, once you have all the bars available to you, the number one most important thing to do is to, first of all, figure out what keys on your keyboard, 1 through, I would say 7, are comfortable enough for you to hit with your ring finger, middle finger, or pointer finger. For me, I can hit 1 through 5 pretty comfortably without taking my hands far from WASD, which is what we use to move our characters. So that being said, I have placed on my bars the main damaging abilities of my class. In this case, it's Enhancement Shaman. So I got Lava Lash on 1, Storm Strike on 2, my Dot, Flame Shock on 3, and a few other abilities on 4 and 5. Those are going to be my base damage rotation abilities for this class, and I keep that the same. I keep all of my base damage rotational abilities for every class and character that I play on that same 1 through 5. That being said, I have a few other consistencies that I keep that I recommend you do as well. So for me, if I'm using 1 through 5, I also have the shift variants of 1 through 5 as well. So that being 1, shift 1, 2, shift 2, etc. So on every character, for shift 1, I have a self-heal of some sort, or health stones when they are available from a warlock. On shift 2, I have an interrupt. On shift 3, it's a damage reduction of some kind. In this case, Ancestral Shift. That will be different on every class. Some of them have more powerful ones with shorter cooldowns. Some have, full immunities. It's really up to you and the class you're using. And then on shift 4, I have a movement ability of some sort. In this case, it is Ghost Wolf. Now, I am a huge advocate of, first of all, never keyboard turning. What we call keyboard turn is when you don't hold down the right mouse button and just use A and D to turn around. I will always tell you, and anyone who plays for the first time if I'm teaching them, always hold down the right mouse button. Just whenever you're in combat, consistently be holding down the right mouse button. That allows you to turn your character using just the mouse. Okay? Doing so, and I say this for a reason, doing so allows you to unbind the Q key and the E key from strafe. So for this character, I have Q casting Chain Lightning and E casting Lightning Bolt. You can do all these keybinds by, again, hitting escape, going to the key bindings section, action bars, and then scrolling through and figuring out which bars equal where you want your abilities to go. So for me personally, I have 1 through 5, right? And I like to keep the shift variants directly above them. So if my action button 1 is here, then my multi-action bar, then my bottom left action bar is shift 1. this is the action bar. This is your bottom left one that we activated earlier in the interface menu. Action bars. See? So, there are a few other consistencies I have in each character as well. One being the basic DPS cooldown. So in the case of Enhancement Shaman, that is the Feral Spirits. It's Metamorphosis for Demon Hunters, Avenging Wrath for Paladins, etc., etc. You know how that goes. Now, as a beginner in World of Warcraft, I don't know if you are a beginner to World of Warcraft specifically or a beginner to PC gaming in general. Either way, having buttons on your mouse is always a good idea, as it allows you more options for different abilities to be bound to your keys. So, for the purpose of this exercise, oh my god, hello. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume that everyone has at least 2 buttons on their mouse, whether that be one side button and the mouse scrolling wheel, which can also be used as a button, or 2 side buttons. So in my case, this mouse that I'm using today has 2 side buttons. So that being said, I got a few more abilities bound to those buttons. You can see those over here. So on my first mouse button, I have my gap closer as Feral Lunge. I just press my thumb to that button and it'll do it. And then I have my party utility, which is in this case Wind Fury Totem. And of course, if I have those, that also means I have shift variants of those keys as well. So I have my basic CC on shift mouse button 1, which is the Capacitor Totem. And I have my party utility in Healing Stream Totem on shift mouse button 2. So now, let's talk about specific Shadowlands key binding, alright? In the Shadowlands, you're going to pick a Covenant. Each Covenant comes with 2 new abilities that you can use. One signature ability that everybody gets, whoever picks the Covenant, and then one Covenant ability that is class specific. So you want to make sure that you have 2 more key bindings ready and available for when you get those. For me, I'm choosing F and Shift F. Remember, if there's one key binding, there's always the shift variant of those available. So in Battle for Azeroth, what I used F for was your Heart of Azeroth essences. So since those are going away, we cannot use those past level 50. I can essentially just get rid of it. Now that frees up F. The other thing I was using Shift F for was just my trinkets. And I can find a new key binding for that once I need to. So I'm not going to worry about that, which then frees up Shift F. Easy as that. That means as I go into the Shadowlands and I get these new abilities, I can easily just socket them to F and Shift F. And that'll be fine for me. What I like to do for those abilities, the Shadowlands abilities, is I like to put the class-specific ability. So in the Enhancement Shamans, that will be the Venthyr's Chain Harvest on F, and then I will put the Covenant ability that everybody gets. So again, Venthyr's case, it is the Door of Shadows. That will go on Shift F. So that is the basics of what you need to know for key bindings as you head into the Shadowlands. Of course, you can always dig deeper. There are plenty of other videos on YouTube that explain in far more depth about key bindings and different add-ons to use with that, but I wanted to keep this just the very basic thing for absolute beginners. If you have any questions, feel free to put down in the comments and I'll answer as best I can, or you can join our Discord and ask in there. There will be a link to that in the description. You can also come ask me while I'm live on Twitch. I stream every day, except Tuesdays at 6:30 Central. You can ask me any question about World of Warcraft or any other game, pretty much. Wide variety of games that I play, and I will answer as best I can. With that, thank you for watching. I hope it helped, and I hope to see you in the Shadowlands. Thanks.